Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on an exploration into something really intriguing and honestly pretty unsettling. We're looking into a clandestine legal system. It's called maritime law, but probably not the kind you're thinking of. This version, well, according to its proponents, it redefines things as basic as human birth and even the courts we interact with.
Yeah,
Let's unpack this.
yeah, and what's fascinating here is that this whole deep dive, it's based on one specific, quite unusual document. It's called Maritime Law, the Law of the Pen.
Mm-hmm.
And this text, it lays out a secret doctrine, supposedly known only to an elite group they call the OK Club. It's really important for you listening to understand we're sharing what's in this source material. Our goal isn't to endorse it, but just to explore and, convey the ideas, because they offer a really surprising perspective on, well, everyday concepts.
Exactly. That's our mission here, to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this text. We want to guide you through how this system, according to the source, uses these profound, sometimes startling, literal interpretations. Get ready for some maybe aha moments that connect ideas you probably never thought to link before. It reveals a system that, if this document is right, operates just under the surface. So let's start with the core idea, because it immediately shows just how different this perspective is. Like we said, maritime law here. It has apparently absolutely nothing to do with actual sailors or ships or, traditional sea laws.
Right.
Instead, the law of the pen describes it as an ancient and secret doctrine specifically for souls.
For souls.
The whole premise, it says, is built on a profound, literal interpretation of the act of human birth. It kind of catches you off guard, doesn't it?
It really does. The document explains that the OK Club's justification, for their absolute authority, is rooted in what they see as a divine truth, a sort of fundamental spiritual insight that they claim to have twisted. For their own profane purpose is the phrase used.
A profane purpose, meaning what exactly, according to the text? Control?
Well, the source implies it's less about enlightenment and more about, establishing this hidden system of control and economic leverage over human vessels. We'll get to that through their perceived legal authority. It's really key to grasp that this system, as it's presented, is totally distinct from the common law of the land most of us know. It operates on a different philosophical, even linguistic basis, almost like a hidden parallel reality.
So not just a different interpretation, but like a whole different operating system for reality, as this document claims it. And this is where it gets really detailed and pretty mind-bending. The source material takes the biological fact of human birth and just gives it this incredible reinterpretation. It explicitly says every human is born from their mother's water, which in this doctrine is seen as a biological echo of the great Omega Ocean. Your arrival into the world, linked to a cosmic sea, that's a radically different view of our origins. It makes you wonder, okay, if that's the foundation, what else do they build on that?
Well, the literal connections just keep going from there. The document points out this interesting cipher between the words navel, like your belly button, and navel, like the Navy.
Naval? Okay.
Because the umbilical cord connects at the navel, right? And we're born from water.
Right.
Every human birth is therefore considered a literal naval event.
A naval event. Wow.
And this leads directly to the core idea, classifying every human body as a vessel. Like a ship.
A vessel.
Yeah, a vessel carrying precious cargo. And that cargo, in this context, is described as the soul.
Yeah.
So in their view, you're not just born, you're like launched.
That is quite a twist.
Yeah.
Okay, so if our bodies are seen as vessels and birth is a naval event, how does this doctrine then connect to, say, the official records, our birth certificates?
Well, it's surprisingly literal about that, too. The source material claims the official document isn't a birth certificate.
It isn't. What is it then?
It's a birth certificate. B-E-R-T-H.
Birth. Like where a ship docks.
Exactly. When a child is born, they are seen, in this doctrine, as arriving at their birth, just like a ship pulling into its spot in the harbor. So the official document recording this arrival isn't a birth certificate, it's a birth certificate. And it functions, they say, as a shipping manifest.
A shipping manifest for a person.
Right. This document, according to the source, registers the arrival of a new vessel in the port of the realm. And here's the real kicker, the aha moment, maybe. This act, this documentation, according to the text, it critically transfers ownership of this vessel, your physical body.
Yes, ownership.
To what it calls the corporate state, which is managed by the O Club.
Okay, that idea. A birth certificate as a shipping manifest transferring ownership. That's a huge claim. But if this corporate state supposedly claims ownership of the vessel, our bodies, what's the mechanism? How is that ownership actually asserted, according to the source? What does it mean practically?
Well, the document describes this corporate state as uh, not a public government like we normally think of it. It's presented as a hidden sort of quasi-legal entity. It claims this entity, run by the Oki Club, uses the birth certificate to basically register individuals, but register them as commercial assets or even corporations within this secret maritime legal framework.
So we become assets.
That's the implication laid out in the source, yes. From the moment of birth, your physical self, your vessel, is viewed as a commodity, an asset subject to their version of maritime commercial law. And this means, the source posits, that any legal interactions within their specific system are fundamentally commercial, not based on inherent rights. And the corporate state holds a kind of claim over the economic value tied to that registered vessel. It fundamentally shifts the status, you see, from a free individual to, well, a registered asset in their hidden system.
Okay, so we've seen how this doctrine supposedly reframes birth as this commercial naval event. But if that's how we start, how does this secret system then intersect with something like, our legal system, the courts?
Ah, yes.
The document claims that it's deeply embedded there too, transforming the whole legal process into a kind of ritualistic reenactment of this maritime cipher.
Precisely. The source carries this reinterpretation straight into the courtroom setting. Think about it. When an accused person is brought into court, where are they placed?
In the dock.
Literally, in the dock. Now, from this maritime perspective, according to the law of the pen, the person isn't just a defendant. They are a vessel.
Okay.
A vessel that has been brought to the dock for judgment. You have to imagine the courtroom itself as a symbolic harbor. And the fate of this ship, this person, is decided not by traditional justice, but by the secret rules of this other maritime law.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden reality playing out.
That is a powerful and, unsettling metaphor. The dock as a place for a vessel. What about other parts of the court? Things we see all the time, like the barrier separating the public area, the bar. Does that have a meaning too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Within this doctrine, lawyers aren't just, legal reps.
Right.
They are considered the keepers of the barrier.
Keepers of the barrier.
Yeah, and it's not just a title. It gives their role this deeper, almost gatekeeping significance, They're seen as the guardians of this division. They understand and operate within the rules of the game, that's another term used, that others outside the bar supposedly aren't aware of. They know how to navigate these waters, so to speak, the waters of this maritime court.
Okay, so lawyers are keepers of the barrier. The accused is a vessel in the dock. What about the judge? How does the judge fit into this elaborate theatrical reenactment?
Right. Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture presented in the document, the judge's role is also dramatically reinterpreted. They're described not as an impartial arbiter of justice,
No,
but as a ringmaster.
a ringmaster, like a circus.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And their clothes, the black robe,
Yeah.
it isn't just tradition. It's seen as symbolizing alpha, representing perhaps the OK Club's foundational or primal authority, maybe the beginning of this controlled reality or game they're running.
Alpha. Okay. And the high chair.
Ah, their position on that high-back chair is called a profane throne. Profane, the text says, because it's a twisting of divine truth for earthly controlling purposes.
Yeah.
From this throne, they dispense what the document calls the law of the game.
Yeah.
That term, the law of the game, is presented as a subtle hint. It suggests the system runs on preset, often hidden, rules designed for a specific outcome, rather than the impartial justice we expect.
Wow. Okay, so putting that all together,
Yeah.
the vessel in the dock, the keepers of the barrier, the judge as a ringmaster on a profane throne, dealing out the law of the game. The entire court process, then, according to this maritime law idea, is seen as a kind of small-scale theatrical reset. It's not just a legal thing. It's a symbolic drama playing out this hidden doctrine's control.
Exactly. The vessel, the person, is brought to the dock to be judged, but judged according to the rules of this maritime law. And this earthly legal process, this theatrical reset, is presented in the documents a kind of profane echo.
An echo of what?
An echo of the day when all souls will be judged in the great Omega Wash.
The Omega Wash. So like a final judgment.
That's how it's portrayed. A final, ultimate judgment or reckoning. And these human court systems are just small-scale, maybe twisted reflections of that bigger spiritual event. It connects these everyday legal things to this much grander, almost, end times narrative. It reinforces the idea of this pervasive hidden system of judgment and control.
So what does this all mean? We've taken quite a deep dive here into maritime law, the law of the pen, and hopefully you're starting to see how common words, common events like being born or going to court can apparently take on totally new, really profound and, yeah, quite unsettling meanings within this alleged secret doctrine.
It's a striking reinterpretation of reality, isn't it? Revealing a system that its proponents claim is operating just beneath the surface, kind of hidden in plain sight. And this raises an important question, I think. What really is the power of language? Of interpretation? How deeply can rooted beliefs, even if, as the source claims, they're twisted from some original intent, actually shape our perceptions of reality? And maybe even the structures, like our legal systems. We've explored the claims within the law of the pen today. We really encourage you to reflect on how these kinds of interpretations might challenge your own understanding of the systems around us. Perhaps, make you look at everyday words, everyday institutions with a new perspective, maybe a more critical eye, wondering what hidden meanings might just lie beneath.